So no one's really have a crystal ball, but we do see the market in the short term. So when you work in it, when you do open house regularly, we see how many people coming through, we see the market pulse. And when we are taking offer or making offer, right, we can see, okay, right now, these type of houses are getting 5 offer. This type of house is getting 2 offer. I mean, this market is getting 10 offer. Is something that you actually have to be a part of. So you can't really listen to too many things outside. Like there are always going to be people who say, oh, this is how the market is going. And then you will have somebody else say, no, this is how the market is going. And a lot of time you look at projections or analysts, even the economists, they don't agree with each other. You'll have like half will say, oh, it's going to go down. The other half say, oh, it's going to go up. So then what is it really? So no one's really have a crystal ball, but we do see the market in the short term. So when you work in it, when you do open house regularly, we see how many people coming through, we see the market pulse. And when we are taking offer or making offer, right, we can see, okay, right now, these type of houses are getting 5 offer. This type of house is getting 2 offer. I mean, this market is getting 10 offer, or like this area is like barely getting 1 offer. So it's really, you do have to be in the market to know what's really going on in that market. Also, we have weekly meeting for our office, and like you hear from other realtor from our office who have listing and other agent, they share what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, and then like together that kind of combine. It helped me piece together the picture of how things are going on a week-to-week basis. The difference is actually, I think, is maturity. When I first started, I was younger. I was super ambitious. I was like, I'm going to get the top producer. I'm going to get this done. It's all about like, how many transactions can I do? I mean, although I do believe, that I'm going to be the best agent for whoever hired me. And I do have the best intention. Like I'm always like, whoever I work with, if it's a seller, I'm like, my goal is to get them highest best price. If I work with a buyer, my goal is to make sure they get the house that they want. But there's a certain amount of a little bit of ego. And that is actually very normal in my business, because a lot of realtor that does a lot of business, you can see their ego is so big. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. They think they're the best and greatest. But, for me, over time, I think it is just a level of maturity and understanding. Because sometimes let's say when I first started, like when a client disagreed with me and I'm having a hard time, like we butt head, when I'm like, no, we need to list the house at this price in order to get you the thing that you want. And they're like, no, I don't think you should do it this way. I don't want you to list higher, and then we can negotiate down, things like that. Like, just those kind of stuff, like it does cause me more frustration in showing them like, okay, this is the way, we'll get you what you want. But they're like, no, I don't think you should go that way. You should go this way to get what we want. And over time now, I learn more about myself, learn more about like how people think, and it's also part is experience. The more you do the work, the better I am at explaining things. I think that's what it is. I don't get frustrated and I'm like, why are they not listening to me? They hired me. They should just, I'm the expert. Like, you need to do it this way to get. And the reality is like, we both have the exact same goal. It's me and the client. We have the same goal. We're just disagreeing on maybe the methodology. But now I'm like, I don't get as frustrated. But I mean, I do to a certain point. But I think I approach it with more love and compassion, where I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. I acknowledge what their frustration is. And I'm sure because they were also very frustrated with me, that they're like, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, you're not listening to me. So now I approach it with more love and compassion, where I, acknowledge, hey, we both want the same thing. I get that this is the way that you like to go. And I'm not as forceful about the option. Now I just explain. Now I just go, hey, if this is what you want, this is the method, right? What you're asking. If we do it this way, this is the consequences, or like these are the things that we can expect to happen. If we do it this way, this is what we can expect to happen. And it's a long conversation of talking, explaining, educating. And sometimes even though I find that even though we're speaking the same language, we may not understand each other. because I had experience where the seller think that the price we list is the price they have to sell it at, which is really not true. I mean, we use the list price more as a marketing than anything. It's not like if I list a house for 1.7 million that is going to sell for that. Most likely we'll probably get 1.8 or 1.9 for it. And it's just all part of marketing. But sometimes seller, they're not in this business. Homeowner don't buy a house or sell a house like, once a year or all the time. So it's part of just showing them, hey, some data, some stats, showing, hey, here is what has been sold here, and this is their methodology, and see, this is the result we're getting. If we're doing this other way, you can expect this to happen, and hopefully we can come to a consensus. And at the end of the day, it is to client choice. I don't go in and force, no, this is the right way. No. Now it's like whatever you decide is what we'll do. That's actually really interesting, because I think most people who come into this business will quit within the first couple of years. So last year was when I thought, you know what, I think I might have had enough of it. I might want to change career. It was an interesting time. The market was changing a lot, and even though I was meeting with potential client, I had a hard time of, lending the deal. It was really tough because rate was up, price was down, and it was a huge adjusting for everybody. And I knew at that time, like, my frustration was actually more on me, that I knew I wasn't able to convey to a seller, because I would tell a seller, they would want here, and I'm like, reality is right here. And then later on I will see they list it with somebody else over here, and then they end up having to price it just down and sell it where I said that it was going to be to begin with. And so that kind of burned me out for a little while, and I took some time off. And I had a lot of time to, rather than working in the business, I was working on the business. I was reflecting on all my transactions. I was reflecting on my relationship with the client, on everything. And I think that was really important for me, because it was a lot of growth during that period. And even now, like even this year, it's so funny when I'm like, I'm going to quit this, I'm doing something else. The universe is like, yeah, you think you're going to quit this? Here, have a client. And they were like phenomenal clients. And then I got another fantastic client. And the transaction itself is not easy. I mean, with each client there, it has its own difficulty. It has its own challenges. But I had such a wonderful time working with these clients. It brought me so much joy in what I was able to help them do. I helped them with their retirement, or finding the next home. And that's when I had that realization that I do love this work. This type of work is very fulfilling for me if I have the right client, the right people. And that's when I realized, okay, I cannot work with everybody. I cannot take any client. I have to take a very specific type of client. And with these type of clients, that's where I will be able to bring them the most value in solving their problem and helping them into the next stage of their life. And so now that's like, for me now, I'm focusing more on that. And I really don't see myself doing anything else in the next 5 to 10 years other than this. I feel that I really would like to focus on this business, on growing it. And actually, I don't see it as a business anymore. In the past, it's always, okay, this is a business. How do we run it as a business? But then what ended up happening is that it ended up taking the joy out of me, because I actually had a business coach, and the business coach would teach me, okay, you need to do this and this and this. You cannot do that. This is how you can be more consistent with your transaction. And, don't go to inspections anymore because you don't need to be there. And along the way, the thing that I really enjoy, the thing that I love to do for a client was take it out, because it's not efficient. It's not important to do. That's not business. Then my business become more business. So that's why I'm like, there is no joy in this. So I feel like I could do anything else and still make money. Why am I doing this if I'm not happy? And that's kind of where it came that I was like, I might just want to quit this. But then when I took that time off and I met people that are amazing, amazing and wonderful, and I wasn't thinking of this as a business anymore. And I was just like, how can I help them? What can I do for them? What value can I bring them to help serve them? That's when the joy came back in, right? The joy of this work came back in, and where I feel so much fulfillment. And I was like, I can't imagine doing anything else. I'm like, I'm really good at this. That's the only thing. I'm like, I'm super good at it. So I'm like, it would be a waste to actually go do something else. Like, so yeah, so I'm gonna focus on helping more people, and hopefully, I'll be able to do this for a very, very long time.